Hello everyone and welcome back to another AFK journey video. In this video I wanted to do a bit of an update to the v+charm crafting guide because we also have more information based on the Vietnam server. We know that when Duratrials unlocks for us, we're now going to be able to go all the way up to floor 40 clear. Which means even on the first day, we're going to be getting a lot of the Branko essences needed to craft charms, and we're also just going to naturally drop these charms from the different stages we're clearing. And so it becomes more important from day one to know which heroes you want to be crafting your charms on. So I have locked into the Hands of Resonance, in my opinion, the top 5 heroes you want to craft charms for first. When they're sorted, you can move on to the rest. And in this video, we're going to be focusing again all the Dream Realm heroes, but including every single hero which is used in a Dream Realm Endless boss. And then we're also going to focus on some key PvP heroes. Okay guys, so without further ado, let's get right into it. So Lily May, first of all, in my opinion, I think you should go for the sorcery charms on her, which give her skill power. I know in the previous video we were confused and it was a bit of a toss-up between Titanic Charm and Sorcery Charm because the Titanic Charm gives you attack and crit. However, the Sorcery Charm gives her skill power. And the 5 skill power given her ability, Swallow's Flight, is really valuable. Basically, what will happen is she has this true damage on 4 of her attacks after acquiring a growth stack. And by giving her skill power, you're going to increase the cap of the true damage amount. Like for example, it says here, the attack deals additional true damage equal to a percentage of enemies max health, which for bosses will not be matter because you're going to be capped at whatever this cap is. And the cap is going to be elevated by her skill power. So at maximum level, it's a 150% attack multiplier for this true damage. If you give her 5 skill power, that's going to increase from 150 to 225% attack multiplier for her true damage. And because a lot of her damage in Endless bosses is from this true damage, it's going to increase her damage by a lot. I know you're not going to be giving her any attack, you're not going to be giving her crit like with the Titanic Charm, but I think overall skill power is going to be the way to go for Sorcery Charm. So that's what I'll be crafting. Maybe testing will show different results, but I think it's pretty safe to go for Sorcery Charm, but you can always wait and see how other people do. For Talene, it is simple. It's unanimous decision. Blast Charm, ultimate power and attack both ramp up her damage as much as possible, more than any other charm can provide, and she is a priority because she is used in 2 and actually 3 Dream Realm bosses now. Crystal Beetle, she's also risen up to the top team. And when her charms come out, I am sure she is going to most likely be in the top team. Okay, Mikola. Mikola is very simple. Again, you want to give her skill power. That will increase the attack % buff that she will provide to your team. So it's essential to give her skill power. On top of that, the attack is also useful. That gives her more damage from her combat fury. Although that is not usually a huge contributor to damage, it is going to help. So, but the skill power is most important. And that is the same thing for Smokey. Smokey, the skill power is needed. That 5 skill power is going to increase the attack buff by 5% he provides to your team from 20 to 25%. Both him and Mikola are the same in that regard. They get a 20% base attack buff and it goes up to 25% with the 5 skill power. And go for healing on top of that just for some additional healing. Because for example, the ultimate power doesn't increase his ultimate's damage. It just increases the healing from the ultimate. And so yeah, it is not needed. Okay, and then Shakir, also very simple. You need to give him the Mystic Charms because you need to give him skill power. And I believe this is the only skill power charm that he has. Again, the skill power is going to increase the amount of attack buff he gains himself from Wolf's Will. And as you guys know, at plus 10 exclusive equipment, he shares his attack buff from Wolf's Will with surrounding allies when he is in his wolf form. And that is what his use is in Endless bosses. And so the skill power is going to increase that attack buff amount for both himself and his allies, which is huge. So those are the big 5. However, there are more heroes which are used in Dream Realm. I think, honestly, before even Phraesto is a consideration because just giving him the v+charms is going to give him a stat boost, right? And that boost is going to be helpful. But the thing is, Phraesto is not as big of a priority because when you look at his Vicious Sting attack, this is the difference between him and Lily May. His attack, his true damage or HP per second damage, which is very similar to true damage, it is going to be capped at 40% of Phraesto's attack per second. It is not going to be elevated with skill power. So skill power is not really doing anything to the Phraesto because it's just increasing the amount of HP percentage damage per second, but in Endless bosses you're always up to your cap of 40%, and so he's stuck at 40%. So unfortunately his damage is not going to increase with any skill power, which is bad for him. And that is why his charms are not a huge priority. However, with that being said, still, the best is going to be giving him the sorcery charm. All the other charms are purely defensive, and those are no use in Dream Realm, so go for the sorcery charms. The ultimate power will increase his damage a little bit, but his ultimate power is not, his main source of damage. It's the HP per second damage, which is killing the boss. Okay, moving on to Ludovic. Ludovic, I think, is going to be very important. Already he's in 2 of the top performing teams, King Kruger and Orson, and I think with his charms he's going to become kind of insane. I think this season is actually going to be a he's like a dark horse. He's actually going to be rising to the top. And you want to give him the skill power, 5 skill power, because look at this. His HP per second, one of his dominant HP per second damage abilities, it has a base 55%, like it's capped at 55% of his attack. With 5 skill power, it goes from 55 to 105. Almost doubling. Like, I am really actually scared about what Ludovic is going to be doing. Because my Ludovic, thankfully I have Supreme plus 10 exclusive equipment Ludovic. I can't complain, but plus 15, the people with the plus 15 Ludovic are going to, I think, be dominating. Obviously he's not going to replace Smokey or anything. Smokey, Mikola will always be there, but Ludovic I think will be an addition to some potentially maybe even a 3rd or 4th top performing team. So that is the important thing about that. Okay, Alsa. Alsa is important in Orson Dream Realm boss. That's pretty much the only one where she's the best in slot hero. And you're going to want to go overloaded charms. This increases, like this basically maximizes your potential damage. Crit damage boost is going to increase her damage if you land enough crits. And so we're going to have the skip feature in Dream Realm when we have like these charms unlocked, like in the next version update, 1.2.3, which is coming very soon. So you're going to be able to skip and do all 20 runs a day if you need to. And hopefully then one of them is going to end up going well for you. And the haste, both offensive stats. The other options are just not good. Skill power is not as valuable as crit damage boost for Elsa. So overloaded charms for Elsa. Okay, so have we covered all of the Dream Realm? No, final Dream Realm hero is going to be Reinier. And again, Reinier is not a major source of damage output in the Dream Realm bosses, so he's not like a high priority, but eventually you'll want to get him. And it's going to be the Mystic Charms, because haste is going to increase his skill casting frequency, and skill power is going to increase his damage. And I think it's just going to be better than, for example, ultimate power. It's better to go for haste and skill power. And that is pretty much it for your Dream Realm. Those are all the meta Dream Realm heroes. We can move on to some other non-meta Dream Realm heroes, for example, if you don't have all of these. But first, I want to talk about one key PvP hero, which is Tasi. Tasi, in my opinion, there's no question about it. You want to give her the charm that gives her ultimate power. And along with that, ultimate power and attack is fine. That's going to increase their damage. Most likely this is the one you want to go for. The skill power is just, you always have to consider skill power as an option on your heroes, but it's a minor increase. I think overall a lot of her damage is coming from her ultimate. I think overall giving her attack percent along with her ultimate power is probably going to be the best way to go. But the ultimate power is important for her. It increases her hypnotization duration from 3.5 up to 6 seconds. That's a big deal. She's going to be much more dominant in PvP and definitely in Supreme Arena, because that's only where it's useful, these charms, when her charms come out. And so that is something to watch out for. And as for the new hero Hodgkin as well, I want you to give him ultimate power and also skill power, in my opinion, would be the best for him. Or just if you want him as a damage like nuker with his ultimate, then ultimate power and attack, if that's an option. I don't have Hodgkin, so I can't say yet. But I think skill power is a way to go along with ultimate power, because it will increase his energy drain amount from Rend and Cleave and also increase the duration of his ethereal state from 8 to 10.5 seconds, which is useful. But overall, Hodgkin is just not a very meta PvP hero. Tasi is way more meta, and so Hodgkin should not even be a priority, but I just wanted to throw it in there. Basically, the heroes which have really good benefits from the ultimate power, skill power, that's what I wanted to mention in this video as well. Okay, let's move on to the non-meta Dream Realm heroes. So for example, Odie. In Endless Bosses, he's not the greatest option, but if you don't have other heroes built, he can be fine. Usually Gale Charm is the best for Odie, because a lot of his damage comes from his basic attacks as compared to like other heroes who rely on ultimate power, skill power, and I think that's probably the way to go. Going for the Gale Charm, attack and attack speed, that was the best in the previous season. Triple tap, skill power is not going to increase this by that much. Oh, wait a second. Okay. This increases his poison stacks? Yeah, okay, so you want to give him skill power. You want to give him skill power. Yeah, it's skill power. Attack and skill power if that's an option. Because that is really important. Increasing his poison stacks from 20 up to 30. That could even unlock maybe some potential uses in Endless Dream on bosses. I'm not sure, but... is there any skill power in attack? There's only skill power in HP. That's really sad. For Dream Realm, I definitely want someone to try the skill power, but I honestly don't know if it's going to be better than attack and attack speed. But being able to stack up to 30 times instead of 20, and that stack is ticking every second onto the boss, right? It's a tough decision, but it's something to keep an eye out for. But the safe one would be the Gale Charm. For Marilee, Marilee always used to do well with the Overloaded Charm. I'm going to suspect it's probably going to be the same. Because basically the haste and crit damage boost is going to increase her damage as much as possible. But let's take a look. Skill power and ultimate power. Now her true damage comes from a mythic plus, so it's unlikely skill damage is going to do anything for her. Okay, so skill power is going to increase her attack buff from her hyper focus, but only from 17 to 22%, which is not enough. If it was stacking like that, that would be different, but the stacks are from her mythic plus ability. Yeah, I think for her is Overloaded Charm for Marilee, and then do enough runs and get the good RNG to land your critical hits. And the haste and crit damage boost is going to be your maximum source of damage. Yeah, I think that's the way to go. Let's look at Korin. So Korin is going to be potentially important as well. So again, his true damage comes from his mythic plus ability, in which case skill power probably won't provide him value. So taking a look here, okay, critical damage increase by... It might be skill power because his other charms are pretty bad. So this is going to increase his critical damage ratio from 1.6 per percentage of his crit up to 2.1. 0.5% bonus. And here this is going to be a shield value and damage, which is not really too useful. But increasing his crit damage amount is not bad. Because otherwise his other charms are just going to give him attack speed. Does he have a skill power? He has HP and skill power. I would be tempted to try this. The other thing to try, honestly, would just be the attack. The raw attack from Bloodlust Charm, because the Glory Charm only increasing his attack speed. I guess that will increase the number of attacks he gets off with his true damage, right? His bonus true damage. It's going to be a difficult decision again. I mean, I can see the argument for attack speed. I can see the argument for skill power, because that will increase his crit damage boost. And I can even see the... Yeah, it would be either attack speed or skill power. It's a tough decision again. I'm not entirely sure which one would be better. For Koko, Koko's charms won't really matter. Usually you just go for... Well, actually, does she have any sort of buff with her skill power? I think there was one thing that grants some 10% attack, but that attack boost is not going to be boosted by her skill power. And this is just, yeah, that's minor. So skill power is not going to be important for Koko. It's just going to be about energy generation to keep her uptime of her ultimate as much as possible. And... for PvP content as well, I think anything that gives her energy on hit bonus, that is going to be a pretty good option. HP, energy on hit, ultimate power, skill power. Ultimate power. Looking at her ultimate power, that is going to give bonus life drain to allies. In endless bosses, that is not really needed. But for PvP, that can be good, the life drain. So it's either going to be energy on hit. Is the energy on hit coupled with ultimate power? That would be the ideal combo, because you want ultimate power on her, you want energy on hit on her. HP for, yeah, PvP. But ultimate power and HP is not a bad option as well. Those would be my two considerations. So for Kruger, you would just want to increase his damage, because I don't think his debuff will provide any boost to his debuffs, right? It just increases his damage. Skill power is just going to increase his damage. And ultimate power is just going to increase his damage. And already his multipliers are pretty good. So when a hero has good multipliers, it's usually better to go for haste. Maybe haste and skill power together though. That's a more offensive option. And if you're going to be using him for Dream Realm only, then going for double offensive is better value. Yeah, I think I would go for haste and skill power, in my opinion. HP and haste is for like if you were going to use them for PvP, which you're not going to. So I think HP and skill power, probably what I would recommend. Okay, and that basically covers all the key Dream Realm heroes that you could be using. Lenya, we can just briefly look at Lenya and Sinbad. But Lenya, you might also want to give charms based on PvP. Yeah, definitely, there's no question. Butcher Charm is the way to go onto her. Like, you want crit. It's either between crit and haste or crit and crit damage boost, but like, you're going for all-out crits with Lenya. She always gets massive crit damage boost from her on her like winning her duel with her mythic plus. So crit and crit damage boost, Butcher Charm, yeah. And even for endless or bosses, having that boost of crit damage potential, that's what you want. So Butcher Charms for Lenya, there's no question about that. And then finally Sinbad. Sinbad, does he have any charm? Wait, first of all, let's take a look at his buffs and debuffs. Will anything be amplified by the skill power? No, this is just damage. Well, Duo Cut is a major source of his damage at Supreme Plus. So you could, and it's on a low cooldown, so you could go for skill power for that damage source. Ultimate power I would not recommend. I would not recommend ultimate power on him. So it's either skill power or it's raw attack and attack speed, not a bad option. HP haste. Yeah, I would go for attack and attack speed. I think this is the overall maximum damage output potential for him. Attack speed also gives him haste, basically. That's the unique thing about Sinbad. Attack speed will, if you look at his skills, attack speed will affect his casting speed. Not only his haste will. Okay guys, so that is it for the basic Dream Realm heroes you'll want to be giving your charms to and crafting the charms for first. After you're done with all of these, or the key heroes crafted in all of your endless boss teams, then you can move on to your PvP heroes, and then it will come a bit down to preference. It's really difficult to go through all of them and give the one best charm, because in certain situations heroes function in different roles, or certain charms will be benefiting them more than others. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. That is going to be it for this one. I'll hopefully see you guys in the next video. And until then, everyone, peace out for now, and thank you for watching.